Representative Paul Ryan's promotion to Speaker of the House is lifting hopes for U.S. tax reform. Joining us now, Senator Rob Portman, member of the Budget, Finance, Homeland Security, and Energy Committees. Wow, a lot of committees, Senator. He worked with Speaker Ryan during his House service, and we haven't seen you in a while. Good morning, Senator.
Joe, great to be on with you again.
I've often said that you need a president, really, to get this done, and you need a bully pulpit. You guys can talk about it as much as you want. I don't know, maybe with Paul Ryan now as Speaker, is there a chance that you could get at least the beginnings of some type of tax reform even before President Obama leaves office?
You know, Joe, I actually think it's possible not to do the broad tax reform that's needed that you and I have talked about, but to do one part of it that'll keep companies from going overseas. We saw another example of it this last week where Pfizer announced they're looking at a deal with Allergen to go overseas, to take their headquarters overseas, and when that happens, we've seen investment and jobs go with it. We saw another one this week, again, a pharma company, Shire in this case, buying a company here in the States. Shire has done that 3 times now in the past year. So what we're seeing is more and more U.S. companies leaving our shores because our tax code is so out of date, so antiquated, such a disadvantage for American companies. So that little piece, the international business piece, I think we could fix this year or next.
How? And they tried to fix it. I mean, you can try to cure someone of malaria, I guess, by giving them aspirin for their fever. I don't know whether that does anything, though. How'd they try to fix it, and how would you fix it?
Well, the way the administration is trying to fix it isn't going to work, because what they're saying is, in effect, through a tax notice, they're going to make it tougher for people to go overseas and do, what is called an inversion, which is where you buy a company, typically a smaller company, and then merge with it. But they're not going to stop this movement, because what will happen is you'll see more and more of these transactions where U.S. companies are being bought by foreign companies. Last year, there was a doubling of those kinds of acquisitions. This year, it looks like it's about 60–70% increase again. This is going to continue to happen, Joe. Pretty much every week, we're going to be losing a U.S. company. And you can't do it by regulation. You have to actually go to the problem, which is our tax code. It's a mess. It makes it a disadvantage to be a U.S. company, because a foreign company can have a better higher after-tax profit, therefore they can pay a premium for our companies, and it's going to continue to happen. So you need to fix the code. And I don't think we can do the broad tax reform with this president, because he insists on tax increases there. But he has said, with regard to this one area, the business tax reform, and specifically international tax reform, he's willing to do it on a revenue-neutral basis, meaning there wouldn't be a tax increase. There also wouldn't be a tax cut, but we would be able to actually reform the tax code to keep these companies from going overseas and taking jobs and investment with them.
How would you do it?
Well, it's really not that hard, and we kind of know what to do, because we've had over a dozen hearings on this in the Ways and Means Committee and the Finance Committee where I sit. One, you have to come up with an international system that's competitive. That means almost like permanent repatriation. This is what pretty much all of our competitors have now, where they don't say if you make money overseas, in order to bring it back, you got to pay these very high tax rates. In the United States, of course, we have the highest rate of any of the industrialized countries now. So you go to more of a territorial type system. This is something that a lot of people have called for over the years. Again, Joe, we've had hearings on it. We've had a lot of discussion about it. As you know, I issued a report on this along with, of all people, Chuck Schumer of New York, a Democrat. And we know we have to do this to be competitive. And then second, we got to do something with R&D. Right now, a lot of countries overseas are saying, hey, if you bring your innovation, your intellectual property over here, we'll give you a lower rate. Some call it an innovation box, a patent box. We're going to start to lose more and more jobs that way, because they're tying employment with it. There's a nexus now. If you want to get the lower rate, you got to bring your researchers too. So we're beginning to see that as well. We'll see a lot more of that. So I think that's the basic solution. And bottom line is we also need to reduce our tax rate here, because the combination of the non-competitive international system we've got and our higher rate just makes it really tough to be an American company.
You have a mass fainting spell in the country if the Senate actually did something and then the House did something that actually became law. Has it ever been done before?
Well, yeah, I mean, we reformed the tax code in the past, but you have to go back to 1986 to see real tax reform. And since 1986, when Ronald Reagan led the effort, and as you said, it takes presidential leadership, all of our competitors have reduced their rates and have changed their business tax system to become more competitive. And it's worked for them, Joe. They've attracted a lot of our jobs and our investment.
I know.
We've got $2.5 trillion tied up overseas right now that's locked in. Think about bringing that money back
I know.
through a repatriation.
Well,
Think of all the jobs and plant and equipment.
You know you're preaching to the choir with me. It's as plain as the nose on my face. I'll tell you what. I'll believe this when the Bengals win a playoff game. All right. So
hey, they're undefeated. We're finally on our way.
Wait till Thursday. I mean, even but when they win a play, you don't want me back. You don't want me as a fan. I ruin it for them. So that's why they're doing so well. But when
Andy
they win
Dalton's
a playoff
looking
game,
good. He's looking good this year. Andy Dalton, A.J. Green stay healthy. I predict we not only get in the playoffs, we might go all the way, Joe.
Oh my God. Okay. All right. Now I know this. Now
you know I'm an eternal optimist, right?
Right. All right, Senator. Good luck. Good luck on all these. These areas.
Hey, Joe, if you and Becky and Andrew had done all the questioning at that debate, there wouldn't be those complaints. That's all I'm saying.
I'm not familiar. I don't know what you're talking about. No. Thank you, Rob.
See you guys.
All right. See you later.